What's up, Trad Nation?
This is Breaking Trad.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Breaking Trad. I'm Alan.
And I'm Matt.
I'm Amanda.
And I'm Brittany.
And today is 2 days. Well, when it airs, I don't know when this airs, but 2 days from now, we will be heading to. I'm sorry, hang on 1 second.
We're good.
Slight interruption, but that's fine. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Miss April McKay. She's from the Blount County newspaper, and she's here taking some notes, and hopefully there will be an article out on us soon. So if you get to see that, pay attention for your local newspaper. If you're local, if not, we'll get it to you. It'll be on there.
We'll share the link to it.
There you go. So yeah, when this podcast airs, we will have. Well, not when the podcast airs, but right now we're 2 days from Ohio. We're going to Ohio this weekend.
Mm-hmm. Woohoo! Yeah.
Everybody excited about that? No.
We got a lot of packing.
Definitely.
I'm excited about it.
You busy over there?
I am busy, but I'm also like the driving aspect of it. You know, it's just
8 hours. Well, it was 8 hours this morning. 7.5 when we left.
Apparently, it depends on what time you look on Google Maps. So.
Yeah, it's a lot of traffic between here and there.
Well, I'm excited. I'm honestly excited to get to still get to meet everybody. There's going to be a recap episode. We'll discuss all that. But today, let's you guys ready to bring our guest in?
yeah. Let's
All
do
right,
it.
solid. So now this is verbatim for me, but so everyone in the traditional community has heard of this organization. They're one of the leading organizations to push and promote the sport of traditional archery. Also, the only traditional-only organization in the world. And on the phone, the president of Compton Traditional Bow Hunters since 2021, Bryan Burkhardt. Mr. Burkhardt, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. I mean, glad to have you on, man.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'll kick us off. So with Compton, I seen online doing a little research. It was kind of an interesting story about how you guys came about. Can you kind of give us an idea on how Compton was started?
Yeah, it is a really neat history, and it is actually spurred. The idea of Compton was spurred on by Glenn St. Charles, and he actually wrote an article in Traditional Bow Hunter magazine in '96. And then in 1999, there was a meeting at the Pope and Young Awards banquet with just a small group of bow hunters, and they were talking about forming a national traditional bow hunting organization. And then Compton actually became into being later that year in November of 1999. And Glenn actually was the kind of the person that suggested we name the organization Compton. And it was after Will John Compton, and he's more known as Chief Compton, and he was actually a mentor of Pope and Young. And he was born in Flint, Michigan, ironically, same place I was born, and that's when you could drink the water in Flint, Michigan. But anyway, then his family moved to Nebraska, and he had a Sioux upbringing. And so that's where he got the moniker of Chief Compton. And the first president of Compton was Marv Klinke from Colorado.
Okay. So a bunch of guys just got together and decided that they were going to create their own organization then, right?
Yeah, and the premise was to really kind of have a national traditional only bow hunting organization, because we are a little different. The traditional tackle is different than the modern. So there was really that thought that we need our own organization.
I think that's cool. To me, again, we talk about it all the time, but I think that speaks to the community of, the traditional archery community, how everybody can just come from different backgrounds, different places, get together and make things work,
Yeah.
Super far.
Yeah, and the real mission of Compton is to just really promote traditional archery and the positive aspects of it, and really educate people and introduce them to traditional archery and traditional bow hunting. And, since the inception, Compton's donated thousands of bows and arrows to, youth groups, schools, camps, and other bow hunting organizations. So it's really all about promoting traditional archery and keeping that tradition alive.
Amen. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead.
So just to expand a little or go a little further into the efforts that Compton goes through, y'all have a lot of focus on trying to bring the youth in. Can you talk a little more about the things that y'all do?
Yeah, that's really the cornerstone of Compton. They're really family oriented, and getting youth involved into traditional archery is really key. In fact, we had our board meeting last night, and we made a vote to approve supporting what's called the NAP in Ocala, Florida. And I don't know if you're familiar with that, but basically you get over 1,000 kids, and the favorite venue is the traditional archery range. So Compton's going to co-sponsor that with the organization down there and the traditional bow hunters of Florida. So that's just one example. But Scott Hargrove, who is our youth director for Compton, I think last night on the board call, he mentioned we had 4 additional requests right now pending, for youth bow and arrows.
well, that's awesome, man.
That's great. That's awesome to know that there's more kids like being brought into it.
Right.
It's like one of our whole things is we tell everybody, like, if you want something to do with your family and your kids, like, get into, these bow shoots and, teach them how. And you don't have to have a bow for them, because somebody, wherever you go, is going to have something for them to shoot.
That's right.
Yeah, that's my experience is, the traditional community just rallies around getting youth into traditional archery. And so there's a lot of people out there that are willing to help, be mentors, et cetera. So it's really neat to see. And then at our rendezvous, we have a bunch of kids shoots. We do blood trailing. We've got aerial shoots. They're shooting balloons. We just have a lot of fun events for the kids dedicated at the rendezvous.
Awesome. Sorry, man. We seem to have an incoming call. Excuse us for a second, but
Okay.
it's just beeping. So there we go. It's gone now.
All right.
Evidently my pop wasn't aware that we were podcasting at this time.
Well, we normally do it on Tuesdays, so you probably.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, you got the next one there, man.
Yeah, so we know you're the real deal. Alan spoke to Dwayne Spann while doing some research, and he was telling him a little bit about the Little Delta hunt in Alaska. For those that are not aware, the Little Delta hunt is what Glenn St. Charles, my bad, wrote in his book, Bows on the Little Delta. In 1958, he organized the hunt with the famous Fred Bear on the Little Delta River. So you tell us about your experience and how you went about reproducing that hunt?
Yeah, actually, Glenn found the location in 1957, and then Fred Bear heard about it and joined Glenn in 1958. But the hunt that my hunting partner Jim Eckhout and I kind of commemorated was the 1959 iconic Little Delta hunt. So it's where the Fred Bear shot the world record caribou on that hunt. Bill Wright shot the world record moose on that hunt. So it was just a lot of neat stuff happened. They had 14 hunters go into that camp over the course of a month, and they brought in like 3,000 pounds of gear. But
wow,
I was actually on my way to work, and I was listening to the Fred Bear Field Notes podcast. And I don't know if you've read the Fred Bear Field Notes book, but if you haven't, you ought to get a copy because it's got some really cool stories about Fred's adventures. But one of the chapters is dedicated to the 1959 Little Delta hunt. Okay. And the podcast was recapping, that iconic hunt, and it just clicked. I'm like, that was in 2019, and it just clicked. I'm like, wow, this is going to be the 60th anniversary of that iconic hunt.
Wow.
And how cool would it be to go there with, original 59 Bear Kodak bows,
Yeah.
original 59 bear razor heads and really kind of period correct items and try to kill a moose. So, we basically, I talked to my hunting partner. He's like, I'm in. And then we just, the traditional community started hearing about it. And we had over 40 items donated, period correct items donated to take on that hunt. So it's just a really cool experience.
Okay, so let's go into that a little bit more. Okay, so if I understand correctly, the bows and the broadheads and things like that from that period wasn't the only thing that went with you. So did you guys wore the garb and everything, right?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last part.
You guys wore the outfits, the hats, all that good stuff, right?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. We've got a friend, his name's John Cabisa, and he's a big bear archery collector, and he's actually got Fred Bear's personal hunting bow, and he's got Fred Bear's personal fedora hat, not fedora, but Borsalino hat. And he actually had one that was the same brand, same color, everything. That was in mint condition, and I put it on and it fit. And I'm like, "Oh, John, I've got to take this hat on this hunt." And so, he ended up selling that to me. And then the other thing that I asked John for, again, he's a big bear archery collector, but he has Fred Bear's personal bolo tie, and you see it in a lot of the iconic pictures, of Fred. And I asked John, I'm like, "John, would you mind if I took that bolo tie up on that hunt?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't know, Bryan, that's a pretty priceless item." And then he's like, "You know what though? This is such a cool hunt that it really deserves to be back in Alaska on that hunt." And so, he gave it to me to take up there. And he said, "Bryan, one condition though, I need to know the GPS coordinates, because if you get eaten by a grizzly bear, I need to get that bolo tie back." So I'm like, "Well, thanks for the concern about me, John." But
well, it had to be surreal to be like, reproducing the hunt and then standing where he stood, or in the vicinity, at least being able to see kind of the path and the way he went and how he went about things, I guess. Did you manage to break the world record too?
No, I ended up killing a really nice bull on day 5. But it's not a world record by any stretch, but it was just really cool and a little bit surreal when it happened, when you got a nice big bull moose down and you felt like you felt like the mission was accomplished and you were really paying tribute. And Glenn and Fred were really our childhood heroes, and specifically Fred, because he was in Michigan, and I would go up to the museum, and Jim would too, and every once in a while Fred would be there, and here's our childhood hero that we saw on all these films and movies. And all of a sudden, he's the one that inspired us to really go to Alaska and have these hunts.
Well, yeah,
what was the conditions like during that hunt? Was it like really snowy or?
No, actually, we were in there for, I think, 20 days. And it was actually pretty warm at the beginning. And then towards the end, it starts getting, colder. But it wasn't anything extreme. I think maybe it got into the 20s was the coldest it got. So,
I got you.
But
well, I got a personal question about this hunt. So when I'm in a stand and I'm just looking at a deer, I start shaking like a maniac. Is that like, did that happen with this bull moose?
Well, I've killed 6 moose, with traditional bows, and every time is such an adrenaline rush, and that's why I love, going. I've hunted moose for 14 consecutive years. And I just love it. It's my favorite animal to hunt. And when you're, 10 to 15 yards from a bull that just wants to take you out, because you're moving in on them, and that's pretty exciting. It just doesn't get any more exciting than that from my perspective.
I can only imagine. I mean, I literally can only imagine. Thanks, Bryan. Brittany,
you definitely have to get there when you're trying it.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, Brittany's got her next one.
So we know that Compton teams up with Buck Hollow for the pre-spring arrow fling, which is a great shoot that's put on by these guys. But you actually put on your own chute, the Compton Traditional Bow Hunters Rendezvous, that is exclusively traditional, just longbow, recurve, and self bow. So tell us about your chute and what someone might expect attending.
Yeah, so the shoot is held in Berrien Springs, Michigan, which is southwest Michigan. It's and it's hosted by the Berrien County Sportsman's Club, but it runs from June 16th through the 19th. So really over the Father's Day weekend. And I mean, it's an action-packed, weekend or long weekend. We've got 2 keynote speakers. So Friday night, Compton Life member Bryce Olson, he's 5 animals away from the North American 29, and he's going to be our keynote speaker on Friday night. And then on Saturday night, Clay Hayes, who won season 8 of the Alone series, is going to be our keynote speaker. So,
Awesome.
We've got a really, really cool lineup in terms of keynote speakers. And then we've also got great seminars. So Bryce and Clay are going to give seminars as well, but we've got a saddle hunting seminar by John Tucker, and then we've got Melody Hagee. She's from Minnesota. She's gonna basically give a seminar on, I'm trying to think of the title of it right now, but it's basically the value of tradition is the title of her seminar, and so anyway, the other thing we've got there is we've got the history of archery display. So Gene Hopkins and John Cabisa have over 60 years of combined collecting, and they've got amazing archery artifacts. So it's just there's a lot of cool stuff there. As I mentioned earlier, we do a ton of stuff for the kids, special kid shoots, and we've got a free spaghetti dinner on Friday night. We've got the archives measuring that's going on. So Compton's got an archives book, and you can get your animals scored and put into that book. But just a lot of neat stuff. But my favorite, there's a lady skillet toss. There's Dutch oven cooking for the kids. I mean, there's just a blanket trade. There's a ton of stuff. And anyway, it's just a neat weekend. But I really enjoy just watching the kids. And at night we do aerial shoots under the lights, and you see the disc going up 50 arrows, and one of the kids hits the disc, the crowd erupts, and it's just cool.
You had mentioned something, and I don't know if it was before the show or during, one of the first questions or whatever, but blood trailing, you guys do something like that out there?
Yeah, we've got different stations for the kids, and we teach them blood trailing. We'll take the older kids and go on a 3D shoot. The smaller kids will be shooting balloons and stuff like that. But we just try to tailor it to their age.
Awesome.
Very cool.
And I don't know if we missed it, but did you give the dates on that?
It's June 16th through the 19th.
June 16th to the 19th.
And then the other thing we do is we've got some membership drives going on right now. So we'll do the drawings for those. We've got some pretty neat packages. In fact, we've got one specifically for new women members. And over the course of the last
guys, he's talking to you guys.
Yeah, it's St. Joe River longbow, longbow or recurve single piece. Renee from Rush Creek Outdoors said, "Hey, I want to get in on this," and she donated a custom size set of wool bibs for women. And then Selway also joined in, and they donated a quiver. So I think in the last 3 months we've had 40 new women sign up. So it's really gone over well. Then we've got a regular membership drive where any new member gets put in a drawing for a Java Man archery bow, and then if a current member sponsors a new member, then they get put in the drawing for a poison dart bow.
Whoa.
And the women are really lucky because they get into the women's membership drive as well as the general one.
Awesome.
Very cool.
So,
That's pretty good.
Well,
Can you tell us where everybody can go to find out about becoming a member of Compton?
Yeah, so ComptonTradtionalBowhunters.com is our website, and there's a lot of information there on the rendezvous. And then we're getting ready to do another email blast to our members, and then on our social media pages, both Facebook and Instagram, we'll have information about the rendezvous as well.
Yeah.
Well, what are those tags for Facebook?
Facebook, it's Compton Traditional Bowhunters, and then for Instagram, it's Compton Traditional.
Compton Traditional. Okay.
And again, the website's ComptonTradtionalBowhunters.com.
And everybody should definitely go check that out. It's
Absolutely.
not like there's a lot of benefits to becoming members with Compton. You get their magazine, you get discounts at the rendezvous, and then you get the email blast that have all the information about those raffles that they put on. So
Yeah, and to me, the most important part is you're part of the only national traditional bow hunting organization, and you're part of a group that's really protecting, preserving, and promoting traditional archery. So you're kind of giving back at the same time as you're getting, a pretty cool magazine and the other things you mentioned. But one other thing that I want to mention is at the rendezvous, we do the drawing for what we call our dream raffle. And I don't know if you guys have heard about that, but it is a killer package. So it's about a package that's worth about $7,500 retail, but it's a 7-day Alaska fishing and black bear hunt with Homer Ocean Charters out of Homer, Alaska.
Wow.
And what's really cool about that is you kind of fish during the morning, and then you hunt bear in the afternoon. But if you're on the boat and all of a sudden you see a black bear on the beach, you can say, hey, I want to take the skiff in and make a stalk. So it's really cool. But then we've got a lot of other cool gear. We've got Bear Archery and Three Rivers teamed up to donate a 50th anniversary bear takedown.
Awesome.
Joe Callahan donated a dozen custom arrows. Selway donated a bear grayling quiver. Sitka donated a Apex clothing system. Kafaru donated a backpack. Safari Tough donated a transformer bow case.
wow.
And then Compton's thrown in $1,500 to help offset travel expenses and tax.
Wow, that's
So it's a really
amazing.
cool package, and it's each ticket's a single ticket's $5, or you can get 6 for $25.
I mean,
And again, you can
that's
ahead.
awesome. Needless to say, it's a dream.
Yes.
well, for $25, you can get to Alaska. I mean, that's pretty cool. That's cheapest it's ever going to get. So,
Well, I think one thing that says a lot about your organization is how personable you were at the pre-spring arrow fling.
Oh yeah, you represented very well, man.
well, I appreciate that, guys. I mean, again, I'm just a bow hunter like all of you, and just love, talking about bow hunting and being part of the community and sharing experiences and sitting around a campfire. So it's just all fun.
Yeah, and we talk about that all the time, like the camaraderie aspect of, traditional archery as a whole. And, you stand out just as well as everybody. I mean, it's just one big happy family.
You're very approachable.
So I appreciate that.
Yeah. So real
Well,
quick.
I've got a story for you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, come
So
on.
you mentioned Dwayne Spann,
Oh,
and,
great. All right, here we go.
and
Come on.
and Jamie Baggett too, right?
Yes.
Yes, we do.
Okay, so I was camping next to them at the rendezvous, and it was kind of rainy weather and a little cool. And I had a camper there, and I think they had a small like pop-up camper, but they didn't have it set up yet. And this was in 2019. And I said, hey, you guys, if you need to get out of the weather, just make yourself at home and go into my trailer. Well, I had to take off. And at that point, I had that original 59 Kodiak that I was going to take on the moose hunt. So when I left, I locked my camper. And then when I came back, they're like, oh yeah, make yourself at home. And we couldn't even get in. And so that's a kind of a running joke now every time we see each other. Make yourself at home.
So just real quick, I want to touch on one more small aspect. We can still get on time, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
A Walk in the Woods, man, the magazine. Can you tell us about that a little bit?
Yeah, so it's it comes out quarterly, and it's basically stories from the members. And we've got some members that go on some really cool adventures and all that. So we've got, great material in the magazine, and we've got some vendors that advertise in there and that, but we've got a traditional, harvest section where you can submit your photos of, what you've killed. And it is a neat piece of material. And I've got every magazine since the beginning of the organization. So it's kind of neat to even go back in time and look at some of the older versions.
When did they first start putting the magazines together?
What year did they start sending the magazines? Boy, I mean, it started out as more of a newsletter right at the beginning, and then it just formed into more of a high quality magazine. So they've been doing it since the inception, but at the beginning it was more of what I'd call a newsletter than a magazine.
So the reason I ask is because I actually remember my dad always getting the newsletters and the magazines when I was young, pretty young. But
well,
I'm
old, so.
I loved getting it and picking through and just flipping through and looking at all the pictures. It's always something I remember. It'd always be in like their bedroom or sitting on the bathroom counter or in the living room, wherever. I would pick it up and be flipping through it, looking through. So
yeah, that's cool to hear. I mean, I remember growing up, and I would be looking at whether it be Bowhunter magazine or when traditional Bowhunter came out, and you just I would look at these adventures, and it was a way that I would dream, and I would dream about going on adventures, and now it's happening. It's kind of cool. So
it is
and that's a claim to fame right there. You're a part of an organization that was on Amanda's bathroom counter as a kid.
Yeah, there you go. That's when you've arrived.
That was before we had phones.
Right.
Yeah.
No, you're right. It was pretty just the animals as a kid. Like there were animals and goats and like huge goats and stuff that I'd never seen before. So I just it's just a memory unlocked.
You remember goats?
Like huge, like the big mountain goats. I'd never seen. I grew up with goats, but this goat was like 3 times the size as the goats in my pasture.
Yeah, yeah, mountain goats on a little different terrain.
Yeah.
The other couple of the other things, and if we need to cut it from a time standpoint, let me know. But we're talking as a board about starting youth hunts. And so that's something that's being discussed right now. And then actually Jamie Baggett of Dixon, Tennessee, he's holding a Compton membership hunt. So he's going to host up to 20 Compton members on a whitetail deer hunt this October 15th and 16th in the Cheatham Wildlife Management Area. And non-residents have to buy a 7-day license. So he said, hey, come early to take full advantage of that. But just some other stuff that, we're really trying to, get it to be a true national organization versus just like a lot of people think of it as a Michigan organization because that's where we hold our rendezvous. But it truly is a national organization. We're trying to figure out different ways where we can get members across the country engaged.
Yeah.
Right.
And I've got one more quick question. This is something we like to ask our guest. Anybody that's new to traditional archery, what's the one piece of advice you would give them?
Well, I would say get hooked up with your state or local traditional bow hunting organization because it goes back to if you have a mentor and somebody that can give you really sound advice and help you out, the learning curve can increase or can decrease dramatically. And not only that, but it's a lot more fun when you're around people that share the same passion. So I would say, from my perspective, that's what I would do. And there's a ton of great content online now, with all the shooting instructions and all that. But I still don't think it beats being with somebody face to face and really, getting a critique from an individual that knows what they're doing.
Awesome. Well, is that time?
Yeah, we're at time.
All right, man. Well, I'm glad you came on. I appreciate you coming on and talking to us. Again, you're not only is it Compton Traditional Bow Hunters or what is it? What's the website?
ComptonTradtionalBowhunters.com.
ComptonTradtionalBowhunters.com. And then on Facebook and Instagram. You want to give us those handles one more time?
Yeah, Facebook, it's Compton Traditional Bow Hunters.
Mhm.
And then Instagram is Compton Traditional.
And Compton Traditional. And you can find out information on all three of those on how to become a member, or is that website specific?
No, I mean, I would go to the website because there's a tab to join right from the website. So to become a member, I'd just go to the website.
Awesome.
And there's going to be a new category in there called the Breaking Trad Dreams, where
There you
you
go.
sponsor a shoot for us, right?
Matt's pushing it.
Yeah, it is. Well, again, Bryan, I really appreciate you coming on, man.
thank
you. We really enjoyed it. It was a very easy interview. Thanks,
Lots of
man.
good information.
Yeah.
That was
What's the next one you're going to be at?
The next shoot?
Yeah.
Well, it'll probably be the Rendezvous, actually.
good. Okay.
Okay.
Hopefully
Awesome.
we'll make it up there sometime. That we're slowly
I heard you were
inching
sending
north.
us plane tickets.
He doesn't
Yeah,
want to have to
No,
drive.
no, you can drive. It's an easy drive.
Wow.
But no, we'd love to have you guys,
Oh, we hope we
come
can
up
make
and
it.
experience it.
Oh,
And
for sure.
yeah, I think you'd really enjoy it. So
Definitely.
It's on our list. We have a huge list, and we're
We do.
we're all over the place. but,
we're slowly inching our way north. We've
Right.
been adventuring
right.
a little farther and a little farther.
yeah,
All right, Bryan. Well, I guess that's it, man. I appreciate it.
yeah, I appreciate you having me on, and I appreciate what you guys are doing in terms of promoting, protecting, and preserving traditional archery as well. So thank you.
Thank you, man.
All right.
Well, we'll talk to you later, Bryan. Bye now.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, so we've reached the part of the show where we're going to list off some of the shoots. These are going to be for May and a little bit of June, I believe. So the first one, we have the SGTP, aka South Georgia Traditional and Primitive Skills in Ellaville, Georgia, May 14th. It says that they also do this the second Saturday each month, January through August. It's going to be $5 for members, $10 for non-members. You can shoot all day at that price, and they'll have lunch available for $5 a person donation.
All right. And May 7th, BHA of Jefferson County will be hosting an ASA qualifier at Cornerstone Ranch in Mount Olive, Alabama.
Baltimore Bowman Traditional Classic, May 13th through 15th, held in Glen Arm, Maryland.
And IBO Chester Classic, May 13th and 15th, or through the 15th in Chester, Texas.
Hueco Bowman Archery Club, Waco, Texas. Hosting a shoot. It's going to be an ASA shoot May 14th and 15th.
And the Reinhardt 100 at Central Arizona Bow Hunters, no.
Nope,
Mm-mm.
that's not the good one.
Just
That's
kidding.
the made up one.
What that is a retraction, so hopefully you're not planning on going to that one because somebody over here
Somebody put it on.
Put it in here.
schedule.
What's really happening is the Reinhardt 100 in Conway, Arkansas, which we will be trying to attend.
Yay. All right. And then we have an ASA qualifier, Tennessee at Buck Hollow Bow Hunters, May 14th only, 1-day shoot.
All right. And Kentucky Traditional Bow Hunters Fun Shoot, May 14th. Notice I didn't say Kentucky.
All right. Whiskey City Traditional Archers, May 15th. That one's located in North Million, Indiana. Definitely go check them out. We've talked to David a couple of times. They seem like real good people.
And the Reinhardt 100 Echo Valley Archers, May 30th. May 20th through the 22nd.
I told you I was forgetting something to fix. All right. Then we have the Bow Up Against Breast Cancer 2022. It's going to start May 21st and run through the 22nd. It will be held at Coleman County Archery Park in Coleman, Alabama. You can go online and find events about that one. It's going to be great. It's for a great cause. It'll be at the Heritage Archery Park.
So then we make it to Southern Traditional Archery, and that is going to be at Enid Lake, Mississippi, Saturday, May 21st and Sunday, May 22nd.
All right. Then we have the World Championship at Hoosier Traditional Archers. That one's May 28th through May 30th. You can contact John Fort or Mandy Boggs on Facebook to find out some more information about that.
And then finally for this week, we've got June 3rd, 4th, and 5th is the Howard Hill Traditional Archery. I said this week, didn't I? I meant this week as far as the podcast goes. It's the Howard Hill Traditional Archery event. This is probably one of our favorite shoots. Y'all have heard us talk about it. Probably nearly every podcast. There's plenty to do. He sets up a great course. They've got shoot downs going on for men, women, and seniors. The children are going to have their own small course up to 10 targets, or 10 targets. And then if you don't qualify into the shoot, then Rhonda has a luck of the draw. And so you still have a chance to shoot out for some money. So, and he'll have vendors, I think, there on Saturday.
Yep. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Lots of big vendors there.
I meant food vendors.
Oh,
I didn't say that, but
I think they'll be there
the whole time. Yeah, they're going to be there the whole time. But I meant food vendors. They left like Sunday morning. So
yeah,
even though we were still hungry Sunday afternoon. But anyway, so come out and join us for that one. It's a great shoot. If you've not been and you're coming for the first time, this is one of the best ones to come to.
Yep. True. Actually, Rhonda's Luck of the Draw, I believe they're going to have a chance to win a Montana longbow or a grizzly recurve.
Yeah, that was first place.
Yeah.
They got a bow, and then second place.
It's $100, and third place is $75. So that's pretty awesome.
Let's see.
Sweet.
Very cool.
But that one's at Taney Hill State Park. And you can contact Terry Harris or any of us. We can give you all the details. Got flyers for it too. Make sure we get those posted. So if you need the flyers, we got you. All right. Well, I guess that's the end of the shoots.
Yep.
Okay, great. Hey, Bryan Burkhardt was an awesome guest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, did you guys hear about that new restaurant on the moon? No?
No.
Where's the cricket sound?
No.
Insert.
The food's great, just no atmosphere. Come on, you guys know that's funny.
Insert cricket sound here.
Yeah, this is the great part.
You may notice our guest is gone.
So I was
She's
just
no longer there.
okay. I got one more. Hang on. I was just looking at these.
Well, thanks for coming to the podcast this week. We'll see y'all next time.
I'm afraid for the calendar because the days are numbered.
Give me the phone.
All right, I'm putting it down. No, seriously, Bryan was awesome, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody good?
Way better than those jokes.
Definitely much better. Thank you, Bryan, for not making us sit
Thank
through
you, Bryan.
30, 40 minutes of dad jokes.
Hey, it's exactly what I pulled up.
I
Dad
know.
jokes.
Hey, well, since we are talking dad jokes, I'm
Okay,
just
let's-
gonna. What kind of doctor was Dr. Pepper?
I don't know.
A physician.
No, she's gonna laugh at that. She's gonna laugh, and you're gonna laugh. What is that? Is it Matt's
Pretty
still
good.
stone faced over there?
It's pretty good, right? It's pretty good.
But you're the king of dad jokes.
Oh, how can I follow those though?
That's hard to beat.
Well, I guess that does it for another episode of Breaking Trad.
Yeah, I don't know who it is. I follow these people on Facebook. I can't plug you, so if you
Mhm.
somehow come across this, I'm so very sorry. I did not mean to steal your joke. But it's pretty funny.
But speaking of bad jokes, tune in next week. Same
Wait, what are
trad
you
time,
trying to say?
same trad channel.
Woo!
There
Man.
you go. On the out. Who's got the?
Roll it.
So why does
Roll
Dad's
that
take an extra
outro.
pair
Roll
of
that
socks
outro.
off?
Roll it.
In case they get a hole in one.
SOS. Matt.
Speaking of hole in one, I think he has a hole in his head.
He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Now we're getting
7.
literal. You gotta cut it.
You
Okay,
cut it
bye,
already.
guys.
Guys, we're glad you could join us for this week's episode of Breaking Trad. We hope you had as much fun as we did.
You can catch the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts.
You can contact us at breakingtradpodcast@gmail.com or on Facebook at breakingtradal and on Instagram at breaking_trad. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel.
Remember to subscribe and follow us. That way you'll get notifications every time we drop a new episode.
Join us next week, and remember,
Make every shot count.